I'm going to show you how to pipe these lovely grape hyacinths. These remind me so much of my nan's old garden. It was really big and there were hundreds of them at spring. It was such a happy sight. I've chosen daffodils to put in the gap of this cupcake. You can put anything you like. I'm going to show you how to pipe these straight onto the cupcake like this. Or if you want to add a little bit of height and texture, I'll show you how to pipe them with the longer stalks as well. Now the colour I've used for these is lilac, but of course you could use blue, whatever shade you want to use. I think they come in pink as well. So this was Pro Gel Lilac. Now to pipe them straight onto the cupcakes, I've got in here just a number 10 round piping tip to make the base, and then for the detail I've got a number 4 round piping tip, and I've just used the same bag for that. And then if you want to add them onto the stalks like this, you'll need a couple of these Milka biscuits. They're just long chocolate covered biscuits. And if you're doing the stalks, you'll want a number 12 round piping tip. So that only just goes over the biscuit shapes. And I've got some soft olive green buttercream in there. And then just to fill in the gaps, I've got a darker green here. I've used gooseberry green in here. And I've got a number 3 round piping tip. Or you could use a number 4 round piping tip. So the first thing we want to do is crumb coat the cupcake in green buttercream, whichever green you're using for your little stems. And we'll start off putting a little grape hyacinth on the front. So push all your buttercream down to the bottom of the bag and make sure that it's nice and tight. So you've got just a palmful. Now come in off the edge of the cake a little bit, touch down with the piping tip and squeeze to make the base, and then slowly lift up as you're squeezing, stop and come off, and you've made this little cone shape. Now I'm going to swap over to my number 4 piping tip. I don't ever use couplers. I haven't even got any anymore. So I've just loaded up a piping bag with my buttercream in it and snipped a bit off the edge, and then I can just swap over the piping tips like this, pop it into another bag, and you're good to go. Make sure the buttercream is all down to the bottom and it's nice and tight, and then we're going to make like a shell pattern. If you've ever piped around the bottom of a cake using this little sort of up and down motion, let's show you on here. So you're going to squeeze out a ball, come down, squeeze out a ball, come down. That kind of motion. It's exactly the same as that, but we're going to put it all around this little cone shape, going upwards. So take up your cupcake, hold it at any angle that you need to, that's comfortable for you. Touch down on the bottom of the cone, make a blob and pull it up. Touch down, make a blob, pull it up. And then obviously as you're pulling up, you've stopped squeezing and you come off. So touch, squeeze, pull up, stop. And go all the way around the bottom. And you're just gently touching that cone so you're not knocking it over. You want them right next to each other, and then when you've gone all the way around, we'll go in above them. So you're going to cover up the bit where you've pulled up with another little blob. So make a blob, pull it up, make a blob, pull it up. And you can come in between those ones on the first layer so that you create some texture. Come all the way around, and then again you're going to come in above those And as you work your way up the cone, you can make your blobs ever so slightly smaller as you build up towards the top. And then as you get to the top, you just drag that part into the center. So you cover up the top and make like a nice neat finish. Last one, or maybe one more. There we go. So that's how you pipe a grape hyacinth or mascari straight onto your cupcake. Now if you want to add some with the stalks on, you can make them taller if you want to, just by using that number 10 round. I don't like much buttercream, so I use the biscuits for a height. So these are chocolate covered, but this piece at the bottom here, if you put that into the cake or cover it with buttercream, it goes a little bit soggy. So I'm just going to snap that bottom bit off, and then you just pop this bit into the cupcake. So you just hold it where you want it and push it in. It doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom, just in enough that it feels stable. So I'm going to make this one slightly longer, so you've got some height variation in there. So it's only a little bit. And then I'll take that one and pop it next to him there. Maybe lift him out a bit. So you've got your biscuits in your cake. Now take up your number 12 round with some buttercream that's quite soft in there. You need it to be quite soft so you can cover the biscuits without them snapping. Push all your buttercream down to the bottom, make sure your bag's nice and tight, and then come straight down over the top of the biscuit with a piping tip and push it all the way down to the cake, and then squeeze. And as you squeeze, lift up the biscuit and you'll give it a covering with green buttercream. Just wipe that little bit off on a piece of paper towel and do the next one. So come down to the bottom, squeeze and lift as you come up the biscuit, and then stop and come off. So there's your two stalks. I've got a bit too much on there. I'm just going to knock that off a little bit. And then you can take up your number 4 round again. Make sure your bag is nice and tight and that you've got all the buttercream down at the bottom. And then come a little way up the biscuit and we'll do exactly the same thing, but we're doing it on the biscuit. So you're going to just gently touch the biscuit, make a blob and pull it up. And we'll go all the way around, and you can hold the cake at any angle you want to pipe these, whatever's comfortable for you. And obviously I've put this second biscuit in, so you've got to try and get round it. Oh, and I've knocked it, and that's no big deal. You just wipe it off and keep going. So touch down, make a blob and pull it up. And then when you've gone all the way around, do the next layer on top of that. And then make your little blobs slightly smaller as you come up towards the top. And then start to pull those little tails in towards the middle, so you neaten off the top and hide the top of the biscuit. There's that one. Now I put on the next one. So touch the biscuit, make a blob and pull up. And keep going all the way around. Keep turning the cake so your piping hand is always in the right place. And then come up for the next layer. If you wanted to make your blobs slightly smaller, you could use a number 3 round. I think with the number 4 you can get nice little shapes like this, but it doesn't take too long to make them. And then pull those little tails in towards the center as you get to the top, so you cover that bit up. And that's how you pipe them. So I'll show you quickly how I fill in the rest with the daffodils. If you wanted to do daffodils, you can follow my tutorial on those. I've got some in the freezer. So add a little splodge of green to the cupcake. Peel off one of your daffodils and pop him on there. These ones are piped with the 104 piping tip, which you'll see on the daffodil tutorial. And then I'll add another little splodge in here. And I'll pop this one on. You can overlap it slightly. And then you can fill in the little gaps, whichever flowers you've chosen to put on there. I've got this darker green in here with the number 3 round, and I'm just going to make sure the bag is nice and tight and that all the buttercream's down at the bottom. And we'll put some spiky little leaves in around the flowers. So you just touch down on the cake and pull up. And you can make these all different heights, all different angles, just to fill in the gaps. Now, I can't get into the center of the cake, but it doesn't matter. Just do the bits you can see. You can make these any shade of green that you like. And there you go, that's how I like to pipe these gorgeous little spring grape hyacinths.